So let's talk a bit. We're going to go through the whole career journey, everything, all of that. We're going to know so much about you by the end time we get to the end of this. But tell us about growing up. Where are you from? You know, childhood, things like that. Because I really believe that things about our blueprint, I call it, like our background, really tells us a lot about, you know, who we are as people and, you know, what we end up doing as adults. So tell us about your background.
Okay, so I'm from Bolivia. I know I wouldn't say, right? So I'm from Bolivia in South America. I never really grew up there. I grew up in the States for about 8 years in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. And then my dad moved us, my mom and myself, to Cameroon in Africa. So we lived there for 5 years, and then to France because my dad wanted to do the most British thing and retire on the French Riviera. So we decided we lived there. You know, hard life, right? A very hard life. So I lived there for 5 years. My parents still lived there, and then I went off to Miami near Boca Raton to do my university. So that's pretty much like the beginning in terms of who I became. And during that period, childhood was interesting. A lot of experiences.
Okay.
I guess one of the biggest experiences for me is being actually adopted. So I'm adopted by my grandmother and her husband. So from my mother's side, and that was a very. I guess I'd be like, I have half the adoption syndrome, you know, where you're like, I know my biological parents, but that did really shape a lot of who I am today and how I want to, you know, see myself. And yeah, so pardon?
How so?
I think it's because I grew up as an only child. However, I found out that I had like this entirely, you know, separate family that was in Bolivia. We're a total of 9. So my biological mother and my biological father, they have separate families, and I was the love child. And it was actually, you know, very nice to meet my half siblings. I met them at a very later age in life because I wasn't really told that I was adopted until much later. And yeah, so that entire movement of, you know, honesty, transparency, that's also something that's kind of derived from that and has shaped me.
No, wow, okay, that's really good.